Well, hello, everyone. A lot to cover tonight. I'm Chris Thomas.
I'm Laura Painter. So great to have you here. Thanks for joining us on the ABC10 app.
Well, tonight, a major update in the shooting that left 4 people dead and several others hurt in Stockton last November.
The San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office confirmed they have identified and recovered 2 vehicles of interest in that investigation. It was just last month they released images of 2 cars saying they could possibly be connected to the shooting.
Yeah, investigators say the vehicles have been processed for evidence and they're now collecting DNA for comparison. 4 people, including 3 children, were killed in that shooting and still no arrests have been made. So please stay with us for updates.
Meanwhile, tonight, a man in Lincoln is facing multiple felony charges. Police say it's in connection to a woman being held hostage. The incident led to a nearby school closing for the day. As
ABC10's Roxanne Elias explains, Lincoln police say they know the home where it happened and have been called there several times before.
In this quiet neighborhood in Lincoln, residents were awakened by the sights and sounds of police.
Both sides of our street were blocked off by police cars going in, so you couldn't get direct access to that area.
Lincoln police say this all started just before 2 Wednesday morning when someone called 911 saying there was a woman being held against her will at a home on Storyfield Lane.
And when they actually arrived on scene, there was people out front and they actually fled into a known location from the officers. Our officers actually set up a perimeter around the house. And they got no response for multiple hours.
It wasn't until 6 a.m. that they say they finally heard directly from the woman being held hostage saying she was okay. Then police say about 7 people came outside the home, including the suspect.
A male individual, 36-year-old Matthew Medina, was arrested for an outstanding felony warrant. That individual was also arrested after a preliminary investigation for kidnapping and false imprisonment.
Police Captain Zach Eaton says through the investigation, they learned the situation started in Sacramento and made its way to Lincoln. They believe Medina was in some type of relationship with the victim, and she was being held through fear and was also found to have been assaulted by Medina, causing minor injury. We tried to knock at the residents to hear what they had to say, but a young man answered the door and said it wasn't his place to speak on the situation.
I hope that maybe if there are any outstanding threats or outstanding criminal liabilities, that those can be addressed. But I don't want to say that somebody should lose their house over something like this.
Now, Medina was booked into the South Placer County Jail on felony domestic violence, kidnapping, false imprisonment, and criminal threats. There are no other outstanding suspects in this case.
A major trafficking bust in Stanislaus County is part of a statewide operation. The sheriff's office says in their county alone, 73 people were arrested and 4 people were rescued. This happened over the course of 6 days. The operation was called Operation Reclaim and Rebuild. Statewide, it involved more than 80 law enforcement agencies with 600 arrests. Anyone who is a victim of human trafficking or who knows someone who may be, call the Human Trafficking Hotline.
Well, 2 people are dead after a house fire last night in Sacramento. It happened off Watt Avenue around 10 p.m. I want to show you. Firefighters say conditions inside the home impacted their operations and search efforts. You can see all of that smoke. Metro Fire says a 3rd person in the home was able to escape. We're told at least 1 firefighter also has a minor burn injury tonight. The cause of that fire is now under investigation.
The Supreme Court is letting California move forward with a new voter-approved congressional map that favors Democrats. The court rejected a last-minute challenge from the state Republicans and the Trump administration. But keep in mind, the legal fight is not over. The lawsuit now returns to district court. Today's decision also stands out because the court recently allowed Texas to use a Republican-friendly map for 2026. Even after a lower court said the map likely discriminates based on race in Texas. California's new map will put 5 Republican seats into play. The new maps in Texas also put 5 House seats into play. States normally redraw maps once a decade in coordination with the new census.
President Trump is calling on Republicans to nationalize voting in future elections. In an interview, the president told the former FBI deputy director that Republicans should, quote, take over the voting in at least 15 places. President Trump repeated claims he won states where official totals showed he lost, calling those states, quote, crooked. The comments came a week after the FBI searched an elections office in Fulton County, Georgia. That search is related to a Justice Department effort to seize election records and search for alleged voter fraud in that county. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is reducing the number of immigration enforcement officers in Minnesota. It comes after state and local officials agreed to cooperate by turning over arrested immigrants. That's according to border czar Tom Homan. About 700 federal agents will leave the state.
3,000 federal officers had been deployed in the state at the peak of operations. ABC's Karen Travers has the latest tonight.
In the wake of the fatal shootings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy by federal agents, big changes to the Trump administration's footprint in Minnesota.
I have announced effective immediately, we will draw down 700 people effective today. 700 law enforcement personnel.
The announcement by President Trump's border czar Tom Homan of a drawdown means there would still be about 2,300 federal agents on the streets. The Minneapolis Police Department is a force of 600. Homan was dispatched last week to Minnesota to try to ease tensions there. He says he's had productive talks with some local leaders who've agreed to turn over to federal authorities migrants who are inmates in local jails and prisons.
While we had our differences, one thing was clear. We all committed to public safety for all who live in the Twin Cities.
Yesterday in Washington, pleas from Renee Good's family to change the way ICE and Border Patrol operate.
In the last few weeks, our family took some consolation, thinking that perhaps Nay's death would bring about change in our country. And it has not.
And there is an exodus at the U.S. Attorney's Office after growing frustrations over the handling of the killings of Good and Preddy. Multiple officials telling ABC News 8 more federal prosecutors are set to resign after 6 other prosecutors left last month.
And back here in Washington, another partial government shutdown is looming in just 10 days. Unless Democrats, the White House, and congressional Republicans can agree on new restrictions on federal immigration authorities, something Democrats are insisting on. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Well, coming up, concerns from labor leaders about the effects of artificial intelligence on jobs, what they're asking for.
Plus, higher prices could be on the horizon this year. Which items to watch, and should you stock up? We're back in just 2 minutes.
Tracking the timing on this shift to likely wetter weather ahead in the forecast.
There are renewed calls for Governor Gavin Newsom to take action to protect workers against the threat of artificial intelligence.
Multiple leaders signed a joint letter to Governor Newsom raising their concerns about possible job loss if AI tools are not reined in.
Lorena Gonzalez, president of the California Federation of Labor Unions and a former state assembly member, highlighted a package of AI-related bills. The union says they're meant to, quote, prevent the high-tech exploitation or elimination of human workers by employers and tech giants. Gonzalez adds Governor Newsom and whoever California's next governor will be has a duty to protect workers from the threats posed by AI.
California is in a unique position. We are the birthplace of big tech. And because we're in that position, we have a responsibility as well to really see the devastating effects that this can have on our communities. And we're already seeing it. We're seeing the job losses. We're seeing the surveillance tools that are being used against union members and other workers. We're seeing the safety issues.
Labor leaders also pointed to their concerns surrounding AI guardrails after the governor previously vetoed other AI-related bills last year. We did reach out to the governor's office, and they tell us, quote, no governor has done more than Governor Gavin Newsom to regulate AI in a way that protects workers without killing jobs or innovation. Under his leadership, California has taken the most comprehensive, worker-centered approach to AI in the country. While the Trump administration has abandoned working people, Governor Newsom delivers, raising the minimum wage for millions and expanding sick leave, paid family leave, and life-saving worker protections. Meanwhile, CHP cadets are celebrating a pretty big milestone today.
Yeah, they just completed their cadet run down Capitol Mall. This is a big deal. Check it out. Dozens of cadets ran from the CHP Academy in West Sacramento to the state capitol. The 5-mile run took them across a number of landmarks as they celebrate the end of their 6 months in Academy and move on to become CHP officers.
Yeah, the run ended at the Peace Officers Memorial in front of the state capitol for a moment of reflection to honor peace officers who died in the line of duty.
Let's turn now to your weather as we take a live look outside from our tower cam, looking at the Tower Bridge and all the traffic below. But still, that bridge looking gorgeous. Really another beautiful winter day. We really could get used to this, but we know Monica's also tracking some changes on the way.
Because after all, we know it is winter, and this is supposed to be one of the wettest times of year for us, right?
It certainly is. Yeah, and we got a lot on deck. We've got Valentine's Day, President's Day, the vernal equinox. We also have that time change, spring forward, all around the corner here as we still dig into our winter. We've got that warmer week that we continue to track. In fact, the warmest week we've had so far this year. Daylight changes as well. You've probably been noticing, hey, it's really kind of staying light longer and longer here. Next week, we've got the chance for rain and snow, and we're going to be tracking that very closely because, like I said, we've got a lot on deck here with our planning. Highs for today warming to close to 70. We haven't quite hit it yet for Sacramento. Some other places have. Fairfield, we hit a high of 70 earlier this week. Today, we were at 68. 60s to near 70 in the foothills and close to 50 to 55 degrees for the high country. All right, the temperature trend, we've been preparing for this. Look at how these temperatures have gone up as that high pressure ridge has been peaking for us. For the midweek outlook, average high 59 degrees. We were a solid 10 degrees above that for today, and a near repeat of that again for tomorrow. Temperatures holding on to the 60s. We've got that Kings game in action tonight at Golden 1. Our tip-off is going to be at 7 p.m. So if you're headed out to Golden 1, it's going to be absolutely spectacular. 41 dry conditions for Tahoe, but we're looking for the chance for some snow. There's that light the beam forecast. Would be certainly nice to get that beam up in the nighttime sky. We've cleared out the cloud cover. No problems there. Sunset was at 5:32, so the skies will be particularly dark. All right, let's talk about those daylight changes. Right now, we're sitting at about 10 hours, 23 minutes of total daylight. In just about a couple of weeks, March 1st, we're going to add an hour to that. And then by April 1st, we're adding over an hour, almost an hour and a half to that total. So we're going to be putting it just shy of 13 hours by the time we get into April. Spring forward is March 8th, just in case you wanted to know. And the vernal equinox, our first day of spring, comes on March 20th. So like I said, we've got a lot to look forward to. As far as what we're going to see for tonight, more in the way of low clouds to start us off for tomorrow. Although our dense fog advisory only in place for the northern San Joaquin Valley as it sits right now. As far as that, we'll watch it overnight tonight, but that will be in place until noon tomorrow. Ridge of high pressure is keeping us with a persistent pattern over much of the west coast here, driving that storm track well to the north of us. But as these weather systems work their way across the Pacific, it's slowly going to weaken this weather pattern, and that's going to result in more cloud cover coming in for the weekend and then a chance for showers on Monday. But this really starts to open up here by the time we get to our Wednesday forecast of next week. So just about a week from now is when we start to see the bigger changes. 50s up top tomorrow, 70s down low for the foothills, 60s and 70s across the valley and the Bay Area, leading to a beautiful wrap up of this work and school week. Kind of tough to be in school right now when you're sitting and looking outside the window and thinking, oh, I want to get out there and play. What I will say is there's a lot of mosquitoes out there. So just be aware, dawn and dusk is when they're really trying to nip at you. Rain chances next week, and that's going to kind of bring renewed mosquito activity as well.
I was hoping we had a few more weeks, maybe a few more months before they kicked into action, but they just can't wait to start biting us.
We've been hearing from people outside right now. They're, whoa.
Wow. And this is right that time you were saying, right? Dawn and dusk, most active. Okay. All right, Monica, thank you. Well, as we count down to Super Bowl Sunday, listen to this. A 7-time Super Bowl champion is preparing to come to Sacramento. Tom Brady is making an appearance at Doco tomorrow, as a matter of fact. He'll be there to celebrate the recent opening of his Card Vault store that specializes in trading cards.
Yeah, if you're a fan, you want to see the GOAT yourself, the event is free and open to the public. It'll kick off at 2:30 p.m. with Brady set to take the stage right outside Golden One Center's main entrance at 3. And Kings mascot Slamson is also expected to attend.
As football season comes to a close, baseball season is just getting started in West Sacramento. Tickets for the A's upcoming season at Sutter Health Park are now on sale as of this morning. And listen to this, we're seeing home tickets going for as low as $20.
Next at 5:30 in Dollars and Cents, what you can expect with prices this year and how to prepare.
Plus the Valentine's Day pairing you did not expect, getting caviar at McDonald's. Stay tuned.
In tonight's Dollars and Cents, affordability in the spotlight. Price increases could be on the horizon and shoppers should be stocking up on certain items. That's according to Wells Fargo. With recent tariffs and worries about inflation hot topics these days, I took these concerns to a local economics expert to break down what we could expect with prices this year.
Most of the projections that you see, particularly from, for example, like the Federal Reserve, is that inflation is moderating and over the next couple of years expected to come down even more than it has.
Derek Stimmel, economics professor at UC Davis, says he doesn't expect general jumps in prices this year. And in terms of pricing, things are moderating right now.
I think inflation in general is coming down with these tariffs. I don't think they're moving the needle in general as much, but in certain parts of the economy or certain products, you might see some price increases for sure, or if we haven't already.
One of those areas could be home goods, according to Wells Fargo, which anticipates retailer inventory prices to be driven even higher by tariffs.
A lot of businesses stocked up on their inventories ahead of time, right, trying to avoid the tariffs. But now that some time has gone by, all of those inventories have essentially been depleted. And so as they're restocking now again, they're having to pay the higher prices that come with the tariffs.
Meaning some of those higher costs could be passed down to you.
Are there any particular products consumers should be looking out for now or keeping an eye on the price wise?
I think there's a couple of things. Anything that's kind of got steel or aluminum based on it.
That includes canned goods and automobiles. Vehicles are also impacted by steel tariffs. In addition, Stimmel advises keeping an eye on prices for electronics. He says increased demand for AI is pushing up the price for computer chips. Meanwhile, prices for services are also something to watch.
Beyond the tariffs, we kind of have a little bit of an emerging labor shortage in certain areas of the economy. We've seen this in like childcare costs and elder care costs.
So, should you stock up now on items you think will get more expensive later this year?
It's a way of kind of hedging yourself a little bit against the possibility of higher prices. In general, I think it's probably a bad strategy overall.
There are some food items expected to go down in price this year. The U.S. Department of Agriculture says eggs, dairy products, and pork are expected to decline compared to 2025, while AARP predicts higher prices for clothes and footwear and utilities and health insurance. The conversation doesn't end here. Stream all of our dollars and cents coverage right now on the ABC10 app. Email me your money questions at lpainter@abc10.com.
Well, coming up, Valentine's Day dinner on a budget with caviar. Yeah, how to get a taste in 2 minutes.
Coming up new tonight on the news at 6. Big games mean big business and also big scams. The NFL and law enforcement are sounding the alarm about fake tickets and counterfeit gear. Coming up at 6, what you need to know as the big game approaches and how to protect your money.
Okay, McDonald's is making a play for Valentine's Day. And listen to this, it includes caviar. Yes, they're offering a kit that contains an ounce of caviar. It's meant to pair with what else? Chicken nuggets. And the best part, we're told, it's free. Okay, so starting next Tuesday at 11 a.m., you can place your order at McNuggetCaviar.com. That's McNuggetCaviar.com. Now, it is not clear how many kits are available, but apparently pairing caviar with McNuggets became quite a thing on social media. Even Rihanna posted about it as well. So, I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I
We need to
like
put our order
it.
in, huh?
Yes, let's leave this video on here a little bit. It's tantalizing, it's intriguing. It's a bit of, my favorite things, the high and low end, right? You just got to kind of mix the two, find a place in the middle there. I also heard there's like a trend of, potato chips. Maybe you can kind of taste the caviar, try it out on some potato chips as well.
I wish you guys could see Brendan, meteorologist Brendan Menchif over there. He's
What
like,
are you up to? He's doing a
he's
thumbs
like
down?
shaking his head the whole time.
He's
I
not
don't know.
classy like us.
I tell you what,
See?
don't knock it until you try it, is what I
Exactly.
say, right?
Join the club, Brendan. Gotta be classy. All right. Thanks for joining us. Watch us anytime, any day on your schedule on the ABC10 app.